What is going on, everybody? My name is Alan and this is Project Elevate, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the shooting mechanics that we have in NBA 2k21. The community is kind of in an uproar almost because shooting is hard. And it's funny because last season there was a lot of talk about skill gap and there was a lot of talk about green or miss, and now we got something that's pretty close to that, and nobody really can get their heads around it, and I'm definitely not in the camp that this is a bad thing. I'm also not in the camp that has mastered this in any stretch of the imagination. Right now I am in freestyle and I'm playing on superstar difficulty. That's superstar. I don't recommend people playing on Hall of Fame for a while. A lot of people are kind of banging their heads against domination on Hall of Fame, and they're trying to get through it. And I get it, you want to grind, and to do that, you're gonna have to, rim run and cheese the computer and all this type of stuff. But I'm gonna take a different approach to this. I think I'm gonna spend a little bit of time investing into just wrapping my head around the mechanics of shooting. Now this is Sapphire Donovan Mitchell, day one of NBA 2k21, and he has a 80 3-point shot and a 85 mid-range shot. So he has a decent rating, and a lot of players don't have, in the 80s. You do see some, and I recommend that you don't try to shoot many shots with a player that has like less than a 75 or so. It's going to be tough. And it should be. So pretty much I want to talk about how I kind of like started to wrap my head around the shooting. And as I've been talking, not really, hyper paying attention to the aim stick, my mind is starting to kind of like look for the aim box on its own and adjust my mind frame from a timing mindset to an aim mindset. Now, if you time it and aim it like at the same time, basically you get an additional boost that's pretty substantial from what I hear. But it's not necessary. I don't do it, every single time. And I do manage to green, a decent amount of shots. Now, when you go into Hall of Fame, it's a whole new ball game. And online and under the pressure of competition, it's still tough. So I'm still wrapping my head around it. But the first step is to kind of get into the practice gym and, lab it up a little bit, and you got to wrap your head around it. I really like the mechanic, and I'll tell you why. So essentially the mechanic is trying to emulate players getting to their spots and then just kind of knowing based on that spot how to kind of aim. The muscle memory starts to kick in. The target box seems to be in a similar spot when you take multiple jump shots from the same location. Now, if you move a little bit, it will change. So a lot of times when you make a shot and you kind of like land, you kind of like move a step over to the side or back or forward, and it will change sometimes. But for the most part, I'm noticing that taking similar shots, like if you practice a one dribble pull up, the hitbox is going to be pretty much right there in the same spot. You can see there it was like pretty much in the same like direction. So it's basically like you got to think about it like with Kobe or Michael Jordan or even Kawhi Leonard does a really good job of doing this. He kind of gets to his spots and he is just money. If he gets to that spot, he's gonna sink that thing like 9 times out of 10. Those are his hot zones. So 2K's done a really cool thing with the hot zones this year. And if you shoot from within a hot zone, and especially if you're wide open with a good rated player, the aiming stick doesn't have to move very much to get into the middle of the aiming receptacle. See, it's like almost right in the middle right there. I barely moved it at all, and I managed to, to white the shot. So taking like familiar shots and practicing your shots, getting to your spots, so to speak, developing that that kind of like sense of, hey, with this player, I know I got to take shots from this, in this area here. And when I do take that, like my muscle memory, I've taken this shot a bunch of times in practice. I know I'm gonna, have a really high probability of greenie under pressure. And that's something we've never really had in NBA 2K before. It's always just been like timing based. So wherever you are, the timing is, the same. They had a little bit of, timing differential depending on if you're moving or you're stationary, which is why like the peekaboo was so like, popular last year, because like it kind of like gave you the same timing each time. So you kind of notice like almost every time that I go into that corner for that little fade, I'm greening it, I probably won't green it this time, but I still make it. And it's just because like I've taken that shot a bunch of times, so I kind of know where the aim stick is going to go. So as we kind of jump into 2K21, there's a lot of really, really good things. A lot of things that I feel like just from the vibe of the game feels so much better than last year. And right now shooting is tough for everybody. The meta of the game is just like rim running as much as you can. Layups are even tough. But as you can see, like in that little corner with Donovan Mitchell, I'm pretty comfortable. Now, if I go to a different spot, it might change a little bit. Like there, I was wide right. So I feel like that's the best way to like wrap your head around the shooting with with this aim stick, is like think about it as players getting to their spots. And like when they get there, they kind of know their muscle memory has developed enough to like shoot the same way every single time. And by doing that, you drastically increase the probability of making shots, So this aim mechanic really forces you to take smart shots, to know your personnel, know who's shooting the shots, where the hot zones are, what it's gonna look like. If you've practiced taking that shot and the game is on the line, like you're way more likely to actually green the shot. Even if there's a little bit of pressure, you're just comfortable with that shot. So I encourage you guys to kind of like lab it up a little bit. I know like my team is a grind, especially, but it's gonna pay like in dividends, like being able to wrap your head around the shooting, and be one of those people that can actually, when you're getting baited and dared to shoot, you can kind of like get to your spot, green a couple shots, and then really change the pace of the game by just showing that you can hit a couple shots. So anyway, just wanted to come to you guys with that, some late night labbing here, and encourage you guys to take a step back, take a deep breath, and kind of like take a little bit of time to get to know the mechanics, get to know your players' shots. Do the same thing with a couple different players that are going to be your main scorers. What's really cool about my team at this point is that you're gonna have like your primary, secondary scorers. In the NBA, not everybody's gonna drop 50 on you every single game. You gotta have your defensive guys. You gotta have your guys that are gonna like clean up on the boards. They're gonna do their part to help the team win. And all you gotta do is have like those 2-3 guys that you're very confident in getting a bucket for you when it matters the most. So again, I want to just encourage you guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having fun with this new NBA 2K21. My name is Alan. This is Project Elevate. Till next time, elevate your grind, game, yourselves, and each other. Peace.